Welcome to another tutorial. Let's make some letters dance. Do 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 do. Let's show you how it's done. So the effect is created by 3 steps. Step 1, I create the curved letter object and then I rotate it in the right orientation to get this effect. Then what I do here is I rotate this object based on pivot points. So I'm using this rotate instances and it has this pivot point socket. In this pivot point socket, I am changing between 2 vectors. And the 2 vectors are the position of this point here and an arbitrary point right here based on the bounding box information. And the bounding box information is created by this out of the rotate instances node, realize instances, and then I'm deleting geometry because I only want the bounding box information of the very bottom of these letters. And then on this bounding box object here, I can get the minimum and the maximum along the X. Then I feed that into a switch node, those minimum maximum, and then I use my multiply nodes here to only affect the X to get the X here of the minimum maximum, because when I rotate this here, I have a greater than. When it is greater than 0 in the negative or greater than 0 on the positive, it will switch between these two. So if I clear that out, so you can see here, it's going true and false, true and false, true and false. And then that goes into the rotate instances, so the pivot point is dynamically changed based on the rotation. So I'm using a group input node, fed that into degrees, because I'm using this to radians, because this is going to be radians. So I have to do conversions here, same here to radians, combine into rotation, so I can get this effect. Now you can see, for example, this D letter here, it is rotating correctly on this floor plane, and that is done by using the attribute statistic node, and the attribute that I am reading is the position of all these points here, and I want to know the minimum. What's the lowest part here? And then I'm using the minimum value and setting position so it is in the right position. So without that, it's floating up in the air along that pivot point right here. But with that, it brings it down. Without this multiply node here, because right here, it is not in the right area. So I go minimum, separate, multiply by -1, combine into the offset. And I'm only connecting the Z's because that's where I want this object to be moved down. Then I'm extruding the mesh, adding some material, and I'm using the random material that is created by using the object info node random into a color ramp, then into either principled BSDF, but right now I'm using an emission, into the surface so that each object, it has a different material. So to reiterate, create the object, I rotate the object. Pivot point of that object is dynamically changed based on what rotation value it is at. Then on certain letters, I need to bring the object down. So thank you. Bye.